Stay frosty and head over to EasyMutt.com for the cheapest mutt coins on the market. And when I say cheapest, I mean it. We're talking 1 million coins for around $40. Use code DIRECTOR for 5% off. Yo, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the Director. Chargers fans, there's going to be a question all Chargers fans are going to be asking this offseason going into the NFL draft. What are the Chargers going to do about left tackle? That is probably the most exposed position on this entire roster, probably the biggest position of need that we need to address during the offseason. And honestly, I think the answer is now knocking on the door. And guys, I'm not even lying when I say this could be a season, even like a franchise defining trade. Like, it's going to affect the draft. It's obviously going to affect the play of Justin Herbert. And honestly, I don't think it would cost us too much to do. And of course, I'm talking about Orlando Brown Jr., right tackle for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, we're going to get into the video why we think that he may be on the trade block and why we may be able to get him at such a cheap rate. But I do think, guys, if we're going to target any trade this offseason, forget about JJ Watt, forget about Marshawn Lattimore, although those would be awesome. This is the trade I think the Chargers should most aggressively pursue because of the repercussions it brings not only to the draft but to the season and honestly to the franchise as a whole. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. The Chargers' immediate answer at left tackle could come before even the draft, and the name of that guy is going to be Orlando Brown Jr. And guys, I'm actually very excited to do this video today. This one is one that I hope all Chargers fans watch and start rallying for on Twitter and YouTube, social media, because I do feel that this could help the team tremendously. Now, before we do get into this video, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this content. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this video. Lights, camera, action. The Chargers going into the 2021 season may have found our immediate answer to left tackle in Orlando Brown Jr. Now, okay, so a lot of you guys are probably watching this thinking like the Ravens would never ever trade away Orlando Brown. There's just no way. The guy has an incredible resume. He's one of the best tackles in the league. Why in the world is there talk about Orlando Brown Jr. being traded? Well, the biggest thing you'll notice here is on this Twitter post. He says, I'm a left tackle. Okay. The reason why he posted this, and I love this down here, we got the smoking Tom Telesco. Yeah, man, this is the move. This is the move, Tom. The biggest reason why Orlando Brown posted this is because the Ravens had officially announced they are going forward with Ronnie Staley for their left tackle in the future. Now, this is pretty significant because Orlando Brown himself, the reason he said, I'm a left tackle is because that's the position he wants to play. And it seems like he's putting his foot down in the statement that he's a left tackle. He is not a right tackle, and that really complicates things for the Baltimore Ravens. You're looking here at Ronnie Staley's contract. They extended him just recently. You'll take a look here. He's extended all the way into 2025 with a potential out in 2024, but that would cause $11 million in dead cap. So there's no real possibility of them choosing someone over Ronnie Staley. Ronnie Staley, again, is one of the best tackles in the league. He will be playing left tackle for the Baltimore Ravens, and that's a position that Orlando Brown wants to play. And this, again, I mean, I understand why the Ravens are doing this. Ronnie Staley is probably your guy. He's probably the answer. Orlando Brown is playing incredible as well. So they know what they're doing when it comes to their offensive line. Does that mean they're going to be getting rid of Orlando Brown? I don't know if it's within their control anymore, whether or not they keep Orlando Brown. That's opening a door of opportunity for the Chargers to swoop in and offer a trade to the Baltimore Ravens. And a trade where I know what a lot of you probably thinking. The Chargers will probably have to fork up a first-round pick in order to get a Pro Bowl caliber talent like Orlando Brown Jr. And we'll get to that in just a second, man. But I kind of want to look at some of his resume here. You can take a look here. Orlando Brown Jr., two-time Pro Bowler with the Baltimore Ravens. He has 1 year left on his contract. And he's been absolutely stellar since he was drafted by the Ravens in 2018. Not to mention, if we take a look at some of his stats here on Pro Football Reference, you'll notice that he has never missed a game in his young career. He's been healthy. He's been dominant. He's been a 2-time Pro Bowler. This guy is the real deal, the proven commodity in the NFL. And when you're talking about tackle, that's a very, very valuable piece to add to any team, especially one like the Chargers, who are in desperate need for a left tackle. A team like the Chargers, who left tackle is literally the biggest hole on the entire squad. And he's only 24 years old. But 24 years old usually does mean that he's still playing on a rookie contract, which he is. So again, why would the Ravens want to get rid of him? Well, okay, so I think the biggest reason it comes down to this tweet right here. Orlando Brown put his foot down. He says, I am a left tackle. I play on the left side of the line. Nobody's going to convince me otherwise. And that's music to my ears. Because when you take a look at a contract like this, he's got 1 year left on his contract. Really, honestly, a trade in this scenario is pretty common in the NFL. The possibility of complications with the squad, the possibility of him not playing the position that he wants, is that enough for him to force himself out of Baltimore? These are the questions. But how much would this cost the Chargers? Now, this is the beautiful part of everything. When you put in account all of the different things we've been talking about, the 1 year left on the contract, he may want out. The Ravens already have their answer at left tackle. Maybe they try to get something back for him. And according to an article by Bolt Beat, they project him costing only a 4th round and a 6th round pick because of this. He's going to be one of the most expensive players to re-sign after the 2021 season. This might deter a lot of other teams from trying to jump in on a trade because, again, we're talking in the range of like $50-60 million. The combination of him possibly wanting out of Baltimore and the fact he only has 1 year left on his contract, all of that kind of does spell out 4th and 6th round pick for Orlando Brown. And honestly, even if we were to go like, let's say, a 3rd and a 6th, or even a 3rd and a 5th, even a 2nd round pick, in my opinion, for Orlando Brown Jr., if we have plans to extend him throughout the future of this team, I say it would be worth it. The positive consequences of this going forward are huge. Not only does it solve the biggest problem on this roster, which is left tackle, we want to invest in the future of Justin Herbert. Protecting him should be the #1 priority of the Chargers this offseason, but it also does change the perspective of how the Chargers maybe attack the draft, because all of a sudden you have your answer at left tackle. Not just an answer, but a proven answer, a 2-time Pro Bowler. Remember, guys, not every high pick, especially offensive line, is going to work out in the NFL. Even guys like Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater, there's always a chance that they bust in the NFL, that what they did in college doesn't translate to the NFL. Now, names like Sewell and Slater, they're less likely to have, a slump like that into the big leagues. But again, there's no guarantee. With Orlando Brown, there's definitely a guarantee. We've seen him prove this throughout the course of his young career. He's been healthy. He's 2 times Pro Bowler. To me, this is almost a better situation for the Chargers than drafting a guy really high in the 1st round. So if the Chargers have their answer at left tackle already before going into the draft in April, that kind of allows them to free up what they're doing with their 1st round pick. A lot of people are saying, offensive line, which still could be the case. And honestly, I'd be pretty happy with that if we went like interior offensive line or something like that after already getting Orlando Brown. But on top of that, it opens up possibilities for the Chargers maybe to trade back. If we're targeting an interior offensive lineman, we can honestly probably get one of those guys, a really good, maybe even the best one in the draft, in the later half of the 1st round. So just having the flexibility, having already filled that hole, you could take a Kyle Pitts and not sweat over it. You could take a Caleb Farley and not sweat over it. You could take a Jalen Waddle and not sweat over it. Your left tackle, your biggest problem in the draft, is already solved. And it's not solved in a way where like, okay, we're bringing a rookie. We really hope he works out. In the same way we saw like maybe Tristan Wirfs, Jedrick Wills, these guys immediately start in the NFL and have a lot of success. There's always a chance that doesn't happen. Again, with Orlando Brown, that's not something we have to worry about. The Chargers' O-line would go from one of the worst in the league instantly to one of the best in the league, especially if the health of Brian Bulaga and Trey Turner improve in the 2021 year. So Orlando Brown, man, I don't know. This is why I'm so adamant in talking to you guys about this, that this could be the biggest move the Chargers make in the offseason. A trade swooping into a situation, taking advantage of a bad relationship, taking advantage of a frustrated player that wants to play left tackle. He wants to play in a position that best suits his skill set, the Chargers have an opening. The Chargers have a future. The Chargers have a quarterback. The Chargers also have money, which is a huge thing. Yes, this year not so much, but again, he'd be playing on his rookie contract, which is nothing this year. And then next season, the Chargers have a lot of money to spend. A lot of money. Again, we're talking about rookie quarterback money with Justin Herbert. That frees up a lot of space to sign other guys. Honestly, we could sign, Orlando Brown for 4 or 5 years and not really break a sweat. And you'd have that answer at left tackle, which is absolutely fantastic. I don't know, guys. This one, I'm just feeling it. I'm just feeling it pretty hard. I want to ask you guys in the comment section below, is this a move that you would want to make? Trading or for Orlando? And I also actually want to ask you guys, what's the highest you would go in trading for Orlando Brown? Some guys I would honestly say like, oh, hey, first rounder, easy. Not so much. Again, given the situation, that's just too much. The Ravens would have to give us some substantial draft capital back in order for us to give up our first round pick. And honestly, that's probably something that could happen. But again, I would be willing to give up like a third and a fifth to get Orlando Brown just because of how much freedom that buys the Chargers in the draft, in the franchise going forward. And honestly, I don't know if we even talked about this enough. We would have a franchise left tackle. And that is absolutely huge. A proven guy, 2-time Pro Bowler, no risk of rookie busts. Everything about this just screams win, man. I hope the Chargers look at this and pursue this aggressively going into the offseason because, my God, man, this would honestly be like, as far as priority of trades right now, this is at the very, very top for me. So, guys, the Chargers squad, Bolt Gang, or whatever, get on social media and start rallying for the Chargers to pick up Orlando Brown. As a matter of fact, I don't normally do this, but this tweet right here, I mean, it's got a lot of quotes and stuff like that. I want like as many people as possible to go on this tweet and tag the Chargers. Is that cool? I think just for us to kind of get their attention, just show that this has got like fan support behind it too. I don't know if it'll make any difference, but I just want the Chargers fans to rally together for something in support of something that would really, really help this team. And again, hopefully it wouldn't come at a tremendous cost draft capital wise. So again, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you guys liked what you saw here, hit us up with a like and sub on your way out. This has been The Director. We'll see you next time. Chargers sign Orlando Brown. As always, bolt up and stay frosty.